Hey everyone. January recently ended, so of course that means it's time for me to give a rundown of what I bought over the month. Starting off, this can count as 1, 8, or dozens of little purchases, depending on how you count it. Tons of more of the little Transformers BotBots toys. All of the current Series 1 5-packs I bought in one day, totaling 8, so 40 figures. Plenty of duplicates, but I think I've got at least 30 distinct toys. So about half of the first wave. Just give a basic rundown of at least one of them. We have a Sprinkleberry Donut. You transform by extending the feet, angling out the arms, kind of rotating the face to be exposed. Yeah. Plenty of odd, adorable little figures that turn to household tools, appliances, school supplies, food. Plenty of strangeness. Over to comics. Got some more sort of backtrack collecting for the Hasbro Universe assortment with G.I. Joe Cobra. It's kind of an odd inflection there. Let's see, are you sure? Written by Mike Costa and Christos Gage. Art by Antonio Fuso. Collecting the 4-issue original miniseries and the Tomax and Xamot special. Still early in the big IDW continuity with G.I. Joe Agent Chuckles going undercover and eventually discovering the existence of Cobra, in fact, as it gets deeper into dangerous territory. And I think somewhere concurrent with that story, I also got G.I. Joe Volume 2, the second part of the first ongoing. Written by Chuck Dixon, art by S.L. Gallant, with, I believe, issues 6 through 12. Yep. As the sort of investigative and physical battle against Cobra starts to heat up, and they wonder, if this organization really exists. In individual issues, of course, Invader Zim, issue 38. Written by Sam Logan, illustrated by Maddie C. In which a plan of Zim's ends up with Gerb publicly believing to have died, and even hailed as somewhat of a hero, even a normal Earth dog. But of course there's gotta be more to it than that, right? Still, gotta actually talk about these competently, but of course 3 more booster packs of the Transformers trading card game, with the character cards being Sludge, a duplicate of Cup, and Jazz. Still nice picks. And yeah, I gotta give more detailed rundown card by card at some point. Sorry. Noted in its own video, but Transformers Astoria, little guidebook one-shot written by Chris McFeely. Of course, referencing stories from several writers throughout the IDW Transformers continuity, telling it in prose and featuring art from dozens of pencilers and colorists. Kind of giving a nice recap of some of the big and small events that led to the finale issues of the recently ended saga before this year's reboot. Not a fully comprehensive little timeline, but it's still a very nice and informative read. Issue 4 of Star Trek vs. Transformers, the penultimate issue of the crossover, written by John Barber and Mike Johnson, of course, with art by Philip Murphy. As the fight on Cygnus 7 heats up, and Starscream hopes to make his treacherous move against both factions. One Criterion purchase for the month, the new release of Mikey and Nikki, directed by Elaine May and released in 1976. This sort of small-scale mobster movie starring, of course, Peter Falk and John Cassavetes. I've heard some mixed things, especially with May being kind of a controlling presence in directing and editing this movie. But I think it's been looked back on pretty fondly. So I figured it was nice to blind buy. Also noted in his own little unboxing video, Skytread, aka Flywheels, from Transformers War for Cybertron Siege. Decepticon that can split into a jet and a tank at the same time. Nice little figure to have, especially if you have the Battle Trap pair from a while back. Nice to finally have that duo of Duocons back together in modern toy form. Gem and the Holograms, IDW 2020, part of their January promotion of celebrating the 20th anniversary of the company, with various issues of licensed stories going 20 years either forward or back, this one going forward. Story by Sina Grace, art by Siobhan Keenan, exploring a bit of a reunion with the holograms, the Misfits, and so on. So nice little sort of flash forward finale to that continuity for the characters. Sorry. I was hoping for a hardcover collection of the full thing, but that was a year ago when these were released, so I finally caved. Transformers and G.I. Joe First Strike, the main 6-issue miniseries primarily crossing over with Transformers and G.I. Joe, but also featuring some other characters. Written by Margaret Scott and David A. Rodriguez, art by Max Dunbar, with additional stories written by John Barber, David Rodriguez, and Margaret Scott, with art by Natho Diaz and James Reyes, in which Baron Ironblood leads a team of villains, primarily ex-Cobra, but also Venom and enemies of the Action Man program and whatnot, waging a terror attack on Cybertron as Earth is about to be inducted into the Interstellar Council of Worlds. Basically the second big crossover, with the first being Revolution. Okay, over to this finale volume of Transformers Lost Light, Volume 4, collecting issues 19 through 25, all written by James Roberts, with art by E.J. Sue, Casey Collar, Jack Lawrence, and Brendan Cahill. The big finale of this Knights of Cybertron seeking quest, as they face off against the forces of like Rodimus and Ultra Magnus and whatnot. Face enemies like Getaway, the Grand Architect, and more. So it's great to finally have that as a longtime fan. Another Invader Zim issue, 39, of course, going right ahead. Written by Sam Logan, illustrated by Kate Sharon, in which these four are interrogated by some aliens, in which it's believed that one of them caused their ship's recent crash landing. So, fun little goofy adventure there. And finally, for the direct purchases, also Transformers G.I. Joe First Strike Champions, collecting 6 tie-in one-shots to the main First Strike event, with writing by Christos Gage, Aubrey Sitterson, and John Barber, art by Chris Panda Mercier, Ilias Kariazis, Guido Guidi, John Wyckoff, and Priscilla Tramontano. With stories done as two-parters with the Micronauts and Rom, G.I. Joe and Mask, and Optimus Prime and Transformers. Stuff taking place on Earth and elsewhere on Cybertron as the conflict with Baron Ironblood takes place and wages within the planet. But that's not quite it, because I also got 2 more Christmas gifts from myself, but they were bought with gift card money. The Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack. Kind of tell it's lenticular, showing Miles' eyes through the mask, with 13 tracks featured in and referencing the movie from folks like Post Malone, Jane Smith, Nicki Minaj, Vince Staples. Nice assortment of music. As well as the score album to the movie from Daniel Pemberton. 41 instrumental tracks done as the background music for the film. I think there's a digital version that has a few more, but Still good to have a physical release. And okay, that is it. Still took me a while, but like I hoped last month, this was a little bit more straightforward for me to talk about. Primarily comics, with a little bit of other stuff enjoyably bought and received. So this took me a while to get online. Short video idea for last week kind of fell apart, and I've been waiting on this arm to regain its flexibility after I slipped on some ice last weekend. But hopefully that gets better, and this video kind of satisfied any folks' appetite for this kind of video. So that's it for this month, and last month, and I'll see you in early March to talk about the February purchases. See you later, folks.